So I recently watched Name Explains video about wonders of the world and that kind of thing. So I was inspired to make my own list of them. Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna start with the oldest one first, and I'm just gonna hide. And so yeah, you can see them all here. So my first one is the Great Bath of Mohenjo Daro. So yeah, I deliberately have tried to avoid doing things on other people's lists to make it a unique list, but there are some things that are just so. And, lots of these aren't even UNESCO World Heritage Sites, so I am deliberately trying to avoid things like this. Like that. So, yeah. So, this is a mix of, man-made and natural things as well. As you can see by the fact that Death Valley is listed. So, I'm going to start with just, not the oldest one, but, this, the Burj Khalifa. Probably thinking, why are you, of all things, the Burj Khalifa? Because typically these things are supposed to be old, except for Christ the Redeemer, which should not be a wonder, and apparently Brazil basically tried to rig it to add it to their list. It's just dumb to get more tourism, despite the fact that it does not deserve to be there. It's like, oh look, Jesus T-posing on everyone. It's like, that's the kind of thing that should be turned into a meme, not a wonder of the world. There's a wonder of the worlds that are wonders. So yeah, make that into a meme. Jesus T poses on everyone or something like that. Yeah, the Burj Khalifa. So the Burj Khalifa has like it's like so insanely tall. It just deserves to be on the list. Like at least to represent the Middle East. So yeah, I tried to do one per continent in air quotes, and so by which I mean Africa, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, Australasia, in the Indian subcontinent, Polynesia, North America, South America, and maybe Central America separate. I don't know. I'll see in future videos if you want to see what would be considered wonders of the world if you were going to, I don't know, uh, want to see specific things like wonders of the Bronze Age world, which no one has done for some reason. Probably because they don't have enough ideas, which is an issue I have, or medieval world. So yeah. Then I'm going to go with Angkor Wat, which, come on, what, if you were doing including since I include Southeast Asia and Australia as one thing, I just had to put it on the list. It's oh yeah, another criteria I went by has to be intact enough, which which is why things like Colosseum aren't on this list, because if the Colosseum were used as a sporting arena nowadays and hadn't been quarried during the Renaissance, then yeah, it would be on the list. But since it's a ruin, and I'm not counting ruins except for the Great Bath of Mohenjo Daro, which I put on here because I don't have anything else for the Indian subcontinent. And hang on, yeah, and I felt like I needed something for the from the Bronze Age, and otherwise I would have gone with the Great Ziggurat of Ur, and it's a notable thing in a city. I probably could have just used Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro as just a thing, but since I'm not doing cities, I'm not going to include that. So yeah, we've got that, and where else are we going now? Gonna go next. Oh, Africa. So I didn't do the pyramids because the edifice of it was stripped away in the medieval period, and Lighthouse of Alexandria isn't there anymore, and like, I just wanted to do something like, because we need a wonder of the world from Africa. I know. Let's just pick something. Insert a random ancient Egyptian thing. I decided to go with medieval Mali. So I was considering doing something like, and because like really had its own architectural style. The richest man in the world was King Mansa Musa. Like, hang on, he's even pictured on some maps. Mansa on map. Okay, wait. Yeah, like, this is a guy. This is a person. This was a person. You drew a person on a map. Like, on like a world map. Or like this map. Of like Africa and like this area. You included a person on this map. Like, wow. Anyway, moving on. You've got things like, yeah, and this is like the Great Mosque of Djenne. Like, it's like famous. If you look up, hang on, African mosque architecture images, that that building is what you see. Like, it's basically fairly iconic. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which some of these aren't. By the way, yeah. And then the palaces of Versailles. Like, I needed something from Europe, and it needed to be something intact. Yes, I could have done some Renaissance building in Italy, but those are probably on someone's list somewhere, pretty much. And I'm not going with Stonehenge because it's not intact enough. Colosseum, not intact enough. But I put the Great Bath on here, so yeah. But because it was the only thing I could think of to represent the Bronze Age, and the Middle East was already taken by the Burj Khalifa, and so I couldn't put the Great Ziggurat, which is decently still there enough at least. And so yeah, Versailles, famously, if you think of an extravagant palace, you think of Versailles, basically. It's like the quintessential massive palace. Google Versailles, you will understand what's on this list. It's like, then we've got 6 in the Old World, 2 in the New World. And for South America, which for some reason got Machu Picchu, which is just a city. It's just like any old Incan city. Like, Quito was an Incan city. Their original Cusco was their capital for a while. Oh, let's look down here. Scroll, zoom in. Like, their Machu Picchu, sure, it was unspoiled, but like, it's just a ruin. And sure, I'm counting the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro on here, but at least that's like a thing. It's not a city, and cities don't count, because I decided such. So yeah, I decided the Boiling River. Which was actually Peru Boiling River. Let's see if I can find pictures of it. No, not maps. Images. Yeah. This. Yeah. Like, this was legendary for a little while before someone confirmed it existed. Like, it's basically a legend that was found to be true, and yeah. And is for some reason not a World Heritage Site, although it arguably should be, but UNESCO's kind of snobby about that kind of thing, so no, I don't want it to be one. And then we've got, finally, Death Valley. Not Yellowstone, because that's UNESCO World Heritage Site, and I want to be special. So I decided to deliberately avoid. And yeah, if it was still there, it would be the old city of Tenochtitlan, because built on a lake, hang on, I'm just gonna look up Tenochtitlan. It's basically modern Mexico, modern days in Mexico City. Like, look at the sketches. Like, look at this. This is like Venice, but more beautiful. And now, like, they drained the damn lake. So yeah, Mexico City was ruined by the conquistadors. Look at this. Look at this painting. That's probably romanticized, but look at it. It's like Venice, but better. And by the way, I was considering putting Venice on the list before I settled on Versailles. That's... And if Tenochtitlan was still here, it would have taken that spot, but Death Valley, it's like an alien landscape, I've heard. You know what? I'm gonna go on Google Maps because for some reason I can't do Street View on that. And yeah, I deliberately chose places I haven't been to. Oh, look. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is beautiful. Whoa. Let's put one down here, let's say. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Look at how beautiful this is. Yeah, I can safely say this deserves to be on my list, yeah. And also, because it's not Yellowstone, which kind of might deserve to be on here a bit more, but, you know, I already picked a place with volcanism, because, yeah, and, yeah, I'm not doing cities, and Angkor Wat's the temple specifically. Apparently Angkor is still inhabited, so yeah. So yeah, that's the video. Comment what your 7 wonders would be if you think there's something that should be an 8th wonder. Comment it. I couldn't think of anything for Asia. I didn't include the Great Wall because it's got been largely demolished and not restored because Mao was weird and a bad ruler. I think you can say that fairly uncontroversially, unless you're a tanky, defending like the Tiananmen Square nothing. And yeah, I would have had Emperor Qin's tomb, but it has not been confirmed that it in fact exists besides the Terracotta Army, and we don't know where it is, so it's not been discovered yet. Even though we know it probably exists, it is not known that where it exists. Oh yeah, there will be a link to this map in the description of the video. Thank you for watching.